How's everybody this morning?
I'm doing all right.
Very good. Beat the rain in.
I know we did. We did. And we have a guest today.
We do. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Jennifer Vitale. I work at First Baptist Church of Brooksville as the church administrator.
Awesome.
So then, what is your spiritual gift?
When they asked me, I picked administration because I was like, I work in that every day. So let's do that. I'll know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's how God
Hopefully,
works, right?
Hopefully, right?
I hope so.
If not, you learn something new.
Yes,
that's right.
Just improve your day-to-day life.
That's right. Exactly.
So with that, you got to teach a couple different breakout sessions. What were the main Bible verses you used, and the women of the Bible, or women?
Oh, okay. I have them here. There's a few that we chatted about.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 Corinthians 12, verse 28, is where Paul lists administration as one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit. And then Romans 12:7 encourages administrators to exercise sound judgment in their duties.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about that a lot.
Yes.
And then we also talked about Luke 10 verses 38 to 42, where they talk about how Jesus went to Mary and Martha's house.
Mm-hmm.
And so Martha we focused on a lot because Martha, as you know, like if you've read that, she's doing all the things to make sure everything's like perfect.
Yes.
It's got to get done. And Mary is hanging with Jesus. and Martha gets so frustrated. She even goes to Jesus and is like, hey, tell my sister to get with it. Yeah. And so, and that, you know, when you are in administration and you have that long list of things to do, I feel like it's either feast or famine. You're either trying to do it all yourself and you don't want help, or you definitely need the help.
Yes.
And sometimes it's hard to ask for it. So.
Yes. Yeah. I think sometimes Martha gets a little kind of a bad rap, but he does still love her. He just chastised her for her
Right idea, wrong time.
wrong time. Yeah.
And you can be so busy getting all the things done that you miss the big
Absolutely.
picture. So.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
So, just talking more on administration, do you want to give a summary of kind of what you shared with them?
Sure. So the definition for administration is to, from a biblical sense, really is to, it's a very much a supportive role. You want to, so in our role, we support pastors, ministry leads, staff, help them be able to carry out what they need to do. And sometimes we're called to just kind of have the bird's eye view of what's going on. So like, let's say you have an event going on at your church and you've got a ministry lead that's in charge of it. And they will hone in on exactly what they need to do, but then you got to make sure, you know, maybe you need safety team, or maybe you need the pastor there, or maybe you need the guys in the kitchen. You want to make sure all those things are done and get everybody on the same page. And sometimes that's hard to do if you don't, you know, to get that many people on the same page.
I understand.
And
Gotcha.
I think the best thing, like I've learned through doing this, is like if you can find out what their spiritual gift is, it's easier to communicate with that person about what you need. So, like our staff, we have 10, and some of our pastors are like, hey, just email me what you need or text me. And then some staff are like, no, I need to sit with you and talk about it.
Yeah, I need to see your face after you're telling
I need to think it through and talk about it. I don't want it on paper. And then we have some that are just like, you know, you just send a 2-word text and they've got it, you know? Like, So.
I had a boss that I had to go sit down in front of him and he would open his mail. You know, I'd hand him a piece of mail, he'd open it and he would tell me what to do with it, and then he'd go to the next piece. That was just the way he did it. Yeah, that was just the way he liked it, you know? So.
Being in administration, you kind of have to, you're usually either on a team or leading a team, so it can get lonely. Like you could be a Martha where you're trying to do everything yourself and never asking for help, and that will lead to burnout. So we talked about that a bit. And I, you know, the longer I've worked at church, you realize too, like everybody has a gift, and if you're doing it all yourself, then you're not letting somebody else share their gift. And there's definitely enough room for everybody to do their gift. Like I sometimes find that at our church we have ladies that are like, oh, this is my gift, but we've already got 20 people doing that.
Yeah.
So they don't need me. But then, like,
Oh,
you do.
There's
because,
another event.
yeah.
There's
Yeah,
another
like-
thing. There's a.
There's different aspects to your gift.
Yeah,
That's
that,
right.
Yeah, you're going to carry out that gift the way that God gave it to you, like,
Yeah.
which will be
Yeah.
different than the 20. So
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
we talked about just kind of how to, if you are in administration, how to streamline that and how to
Yeah.
not let it drive yourself crazy or isolate yourself.
Yeah.
You know? So, and then we also talked about how to, like, if you are on a team, it's good to get everybody to know what their spiritual gift is so that you can hone in on. Like, for instance, I have a lady that works in the office, is volunteer, and she's very bubbly and likes to chat with everybody. And then I have somebody that's a bit more reserved. So, you know,
Yeah.
now that I know that, I'm going to put the person that's bubbly on our busiest day where there's most people in the office.
Oh,
and she
yeah,
thrives
yeah.
on that.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And so it's like setting them up for success, which also sets you up for success.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
What a great way to hone in on your gift.
Mhm.
Yeah,
By
really.
helping other people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without this, like, thinking too much about gifts, before I knew exactly what my gift was, and taking the test, it was hard. Like, have you ever had that one person that needs extra grace, and you're like, why are we always on the struggle bus here? And then, you know, to flip that thought into, like, well, that's, like, if their gift is evangelism, and I've got them making spreadsheets all day, they're going to be miserable, and I'm
they
going to be
will
miserable. So,
yeah,
they should be
Yeah.
frontline, not supports, you know. So
Yes. Yeah.
it's good to know yours and then know the people
Yeah.
that help you at church too.
So delegating is a big
yes,
word in administration,
yes,
isn't
for
it?
sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And I don't know. I just think the more that the more that you're using your gift,
Yes.
I think it's more fulfilling too.
Oh,
Because-
yeah. Definitely.
And I've never realized, like, how many people don't know what their gift is, or they've never taken the test.
Yeah.
Have you found that at your church? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have a Bible studies on Wednesday night, and that was the one we're doing a kind of like a survey, and that was one of the things they don't know what their gift is.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we need to do for that group is have them do that test so that they can in turn, and then we need to come behind them. I think that's where we're trying to do now is figure
Yeah.
out how to come behind them and make sure that they've made that next step.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And
to use it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think if in administration, like I said earlier, it's definitely a support role. So once they find that spot,
Yes.
that's their gift. Like, our supportive role is basic in administration, basically in a church aspect, is to assist ministries to roll out what they need to do. It's your specific avenue to get things out, to share the gospel in the way, however your ministry leader is needing to do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
every church would be different. Every
Every church has different
every event is
community.
different.
They have a different community. Sometimes they have a different culture. Sometimes, other churches have different culture. I mean, within the same county.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's really based on just what spiritual gifts everybody has, and
Yeah.
are they using it? Are they not?
Yeah.
Are they? Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Super cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Was there anything about administration that you found that surprised you while you were preparing for this, or you didn't know about?
I didn't know. I didn't realize that. I found this out through the book that we read, which was women's the gifts of women. Oh my gosh! Why am
I know.
not saying it right?
I can see a screen. I can
Yes.
see the words.
It was for women about their gifts, and what I didn't realize was, and I guess it's not just for women, is when you have one gift, there's certain gifts that are like second, third, and fourth, and so like when I took my test, administration was the top, but then like giver, helper, and like hospitality was like right behind it, and I was like, oh yeah, and then you
That's
start.
all part of it,
Yeah,
right? That's
it's
all
part of
that.
it. And then I
Mhm.
realized, like, there have been seasons in my life where, like, before I started working at church, administration wasn't, like, it was probably was my strong suit, but I wasn't
Mhm.
using it.
Yeah.
I was more in, like, a hospitality role type thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I learned that as you go through those, whatever you score the highest in, sometimes those come out stronger in certain seasons than others.
Oh yeah,
But-
I had some changes in mine when I did it. I
Did
had
you?
some changes in my gifts, so I was really surprised at that. And I know different tests, look at it maybe differently or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
they ask different questions to pull
yes,
out different.
and so
Mhm.
so it kind of but it didn't hurt to know that, and it didn't hurt to know, nor did it hurt to learn what that gift was.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, oh yeah, because I sat in a meeting with Katrina, and I said, this was mine, and she says, I can see that. I go, what? Really?
When
But,
we
yeah.
when we were here, when we had the first one
Yeah.
here, there were you could hear other ladies at the table, and I heard one lady go, "You scored what?" And then, and they were all surprised. But then, like later on, as they were talking about, it, they were like, "Oh yeah, well you are the one that does this, and you are the one that does that."
There you
and
go.
so yeah, it's fun to find that out.
Yeah, these tests are just like jumping off points to be able to get
Yeah.
you in the right direction.
Yeah.
You don't doesn't necessarily lock you in because you may change throughout your life. And,
Yeah.
God's ultimate purpose for us is to go out and tell the gospel,
Mhm.
and that how that's gonna look like might change
Mhm.
Yeah.
throughout your life. You
Yeah.
know, but that purpose always remains at the head of it, and then we get to figure out, okay, how does God want to use me now in this season,
Right.
and who does
Yeah.
God want me to reach?
Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things that when we talked about evangelism,
Mm-hmm.
that might be, it was at the bottom for me, but we realized but we still all have that gift, and maybe in a small way,
Mm-hmm.
and we all are supposed to share that gift.
Mhm.
Some
Right.
people are better at it. You're probably better at administration than some people. I have some that fly by the seat of their pants, they say, or they
Yeah.
wing it. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
no.
Need to have some sort of plan.
Please,
Yes,
please.
it's got to be a process.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's why we're there to support those people.
That's
We'll have a
right.
plan.
That's right.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
right. Help them.
For
That's
sure.
right. That's
For
right.
sure.
Yeah. So, all the way back, reaching into your memory from November, what was your favorite part about just the conference in general?
I think my favorite part was hearing the discussions of the ladies that had never taken the test before.
Mm.
And then some of them trying to figure out, well, how am I going to do that? How am I going to use this gift?
I know.
And hearing the other ladies like rally them on and throw ideas out, and that was really good. And there were like thinking about it, like I feel like there's so many people. If you go to your church on a Sunday and you work at your church, you see who volunteers a lot and serving in
Mhm.
church, and there's
Yeah.
a lot that don't. And I think part of that might be they don't know where their place is to plug in, maybe.
Right.
And if I wonder now, having done this, like, do they know what their gift is? And
Yeah.
because I think if you do know your gift and then you plug in using it, it's like a whole new level. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
next level
Yeah,
of your
yeah.
church, like getting involved. And
Yes.
can you imagine Jesus being like, "Hey, thanks for being a believer. Here's a gift for you. Just put it in your purse. If you want to use it, use it."
Oh, yeah.
No, he's
Stick
like,
in your pocket.
"Here you go. This is how you're gonna serve my kingdom and get the job done." Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
do it. And so,
And I have found too that many people, like you say, don't know, but also they want to be asked because they're not going to just come and
Push
say, "Hey, I want to do it." I know,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's how that's how I was here, and that's how I was before. Is I'm saying, okay, I'm serving Jesus,
Mhm.
and where you want me?
Yeah.
What can I do? This is what I've done. This is what I feel like God's called me to do. So where you want to put me?
yeah.
You
And,
know.
and that's okay.
But, and that's
yeah.
But sometimes we need to go to people and say, "Hey, what can I do? Is there something that you're interested in? Have you seen all that we're doing? Is there a spot I can plug you in?"
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's totally okay to like serve with a buddy or your
Oh,
church
yeah.
your church bestie. You know,
Yeah.
even if you don't have the same gifts, you can still serve in the same ministry
Oh yeah.
using your gift. And
Yeah.
I think too, a lot of times at our church, I hear, "Well, I'm just so shy," and I think about when I first started going to my church. I remember the shift from Thanksgiving week. Like there's like these nice, beautiful bouquets and flower arrangements
Mhm.
all fall, and then I go in and now there's this Christmas tree and
Oh,
all the poinsettias, and I
know.
Seems like
say
it
to-
just magically happened.
yeah,
Yeah.
I say to my friend, "Who does this?" And she's like, "I don't know." And then like as seasons go on, I don't know why I was like floored by it all of a sudden I'm like, "So who does this?" And I ask the people in front of me, behind me, no one knows. They're like, "It just happens." I'm like, "We don't
No, it doesn't just
we don't have and just like, this doesn't happen. And so my first, I think, month working in the office as secretary, when I first started, I remember asking one of my coworkers, and the trustee who was also our treasurer at the time was in the office. And he was like, "Oh, that's my wife," and I'm like,
she does a wonderful
makes sense.
job.
Yeah. I talked to her. I know her. She just sat. I was singing in choir at the time. She sat behind me. We are like encircled around her work. Like her stuff, her bouquets are on the stage. They're all around us.
Yeah.
And never once does she say, "This is me. I was here all day yesterday doing this."
No.
So if you are shy or an introvert, like there is definitely a way for you to serve.
Yeah, there's definitely behind the scenes that help just as much as in front.
Exactly.
Right.
And and part of some of the things that have happened within our women's ministry is, as they serve, then you can pull a little bit out. Like, okay, let's stretch a little bit. let's move to another area. Let's just do a little. Let's talk just a little bit in a small group.
Absolutely.
So I think you grow when you serve.
Yes.
When you serve, I think you grow.
Oh yeah.
You do.
So,
And you get to share the work more. I think I've been church administrator for just this last year, but like working in the office, it's almost been 8 years, and then someone will come in to volunteer with me, and they'll do something a certain way. I'm like, oh, sure, why didn't I think of that before? Because you just get stuck in your own like little systems, so it's always good to grow your team and
absolutely
get everyone involved.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to share?
I would definitely encourage anyone watching, if you don't know your gift, take that test. There's tests on Lifeway. There's online tests.
We can provide it for you.
Yeah.
Just text us or let us know. Yeah, we'll get it to you.
You could share with ask your women's ministry leader if you have one, or your pastor.
Yeah.
They'll definitely get you set on the right track.
Yeah.
And how to use
definitely.
that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, we're excited, and thank you
Thanks.
for just being here.
This was painless. This is the first one I've done, and I was like not sure what to expect.
Right.
But thank you so much.
Yeah, no,
This
we're
was
happy.
pleasant.
Yeah, we're happy. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, one more, and we are hoping that if you are an administrator and you didn't know what to do with that, just, hey, listen, and then, hey, if you need to make a phone call, a text, or something like that, or a post, please do so. We'll help you get there.
Yes.
See you later.
See you later. Bye.